Do you ever feel like progressives are fighting a war with an invisible enemy? Like they think they see something out there, but it's not there. And they believe their fears, so they manifest them. Like their fear of law enforcement, fear of Trump, fear of boundaries, as if a boundary is somehow harsh and attacking. So today I thought I would dive into, Stockholm syndrome a little bit. I'm Kerry Blaser. I'm the reincarnation of Mary Magdalene, divine feminine, and my job is to, I create, but I also draw boundaries, and I also lead the collective through self-reflection. I'm the heartbeat of the collective. So I bring up topics when we're ready to see them, and I help address issues when we're ready to see them. So right now, the progressives are really being corralled, but with law enforcement, fraud, massive fraud allegations. Like the mirror is up, right? The Trump is about to show a 10-year RICO case on the whole DNC, the Democratic National Convention, like all Democrats. Like it's that bad. And I keep intuiting, like, martial law. It feels like martial law is probably coming, at least for a while. I hope not. But the faster the progressives could admit that they're mentally ill, the faster we can get to the business of cleaning up America so it's healthy for all of our families. I mean, the fact that they have a hard time grounding into the reality that Renee Good was harassing law enforcement, had learned how to harass law enforcement through an organization through her son's school, and that she was honking the horn and dancing in the car and taunting them and blocking the road. But liberal media keeps saying, well, oh, she just dropped off her son and just happened by. How do you see those videos and the eyewitness accounts and hear the wife say, I told her to come here, and then the wife said, drive, baby, drive, and then she hit the officer, and then the wife admitted, it's all my fault. Why isn't that on the news? Why can't they even see that? And the only reason I can answer these questions is because I can answer them for myself. I was a liberal my whole life. I live in Southern California on the beach, right? Can't get much more liberal than beach in Southern California, right? But I had a very traumatic childhood. And so I used to see life like that. I literally couldn't perceive things because I had emotional wounds. It's just like some of the men that I've helped, like Andrew Tate and Justin Waller. They see a lot of women because they have an emotional wound with women, so they can't go deep. So they go for breadth because they can't go for depth. Okay? So, and it's the same thing here. Because they can't ground into themselves, they can't ground into reality. And I had that problem my whole life until I healed over the last 10 years. So this is why I'm going to keep making videos about the progressives being mentally ill, because we all need to accept it and we all need to help get through this together. Let's all face our fears. And so now I'll show a video by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's in my book, and I just think he's wonderful. So why don't I share this video, and we can see what he has to say about how to recalibrate your nervous system. I mean, really what we're doing to heal is recalibrating the nervous system to resonate with love, compassion, and enlightenment instead of fear, guilt, and shame. Because I was traumatized, my nervous system calibrates with fear, guilt, and shame. So I perceive a lot of fear, guilt, and shame, and then I am attracted to it because my nervous system tells me to be attracted to it. But now that the past 10 years, I experience enlightenment all the time. I am not attracted to fear, guilt, and shame, so I can ground into reality and see what exactly happened with Renee Good without question. I mean, it all happened in a matter of a second. And you have these leftists asking, are the second and third shots valid? That is a fraction of a second, and you want to cut, how are we even talking about this nonsense? We're not living in the same reality because so many people have unhealed wounds, and because no one's called them out yet, because we allowed them to project their wounds so terribly, so much of a devouring mother onto our children, that we got to trans kids and we're cutting off kids' genitals. Yeah, we're fucked up. Fucked up. But this is why. We have to explore our depths before we can explore our heights. And we went down to our deepest depths. So our highest heights is enlightenment for the collective. So to expand our consciousness, I, over the last year and a half, have experienced enlightenment in a plethora of times, all the time. And so when I expand my consciousness, my heart is the heartbeat of the collective. So it helps everyone expand their consciousness. And this is what's happening. People are grounding into reality more. And that's why more people are standing up for nationalism and boundaries and supporting law enforcement, because we're releasing fear and grounding into reality. Oh shit, what the fuck do we create? Oh fuck. 10 million illegals over the past with Biden. We elected someone who's has dementia and can't even lead. Whoa, we wanted, we were going to allow the Democrats to appoint their nominee. And that got on the ballot. How the fuck is it legal for Kamala Harris to even be on the ballot? So much shit was going down. So much fraud was happening everywhere. But we had so many personal fears we couldn't see because we're not grounded in reality. Now we're much, much better. Much, much better. So, sorry, let's listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza and see what he has to say about how to face our fears.
Okay, so the fear is real. Okay, so what emotion could you change from fear into? Okay, so we teach people, okay, can you practice breathing and slowing your brain waves down, working with the animal, working with the body, slow your breath down, slow your brain waves down. Yeah, but I don't want to. Okay, do it anyway. Practice slowing your breath down, breathing a little bit slower. Your brainwaves start to change. Put your attention on your heart. We have great data to show where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You see a very low frequency of the heart starting to build in the person.
Where you place your frequency is where you place your energy. So if their frequency is resonated to fear, guilt, and shame, then that's all that they perceive is fear, guilt, and shame. And they project it as if it's real, but it's not. That's why they're so afraid of ice, and they feel justified in attacking ice because they believe their erroneous projection of their own internal lie.
So now the heart is getting energy, and then parasympathetic nervous system starts coming up. The body starts moving into that state. Okay, that's really great. And keep doing it over and over again. Keep relaxing into your heart, energy moving into the heart. The heart informs the brain. The trauma's over. Betrayal's over. The event is over. What you're afraid of is over. Okay.
Wow, let me stop sharing. So that was so perfect. He got people back into their heart. That's what shamans do. I'm a shaman. We connect people to their heart, to their soul, because their heart is actually in charge. The nervous system around our hearts is far more vast and complex than our brain, and our heart sends far more signals than our brain the other way around. But when we shut down our heart, our brain is overreactive, and there's the anxiety and depression, and we get stuck. But when we move back into our heart and are open, we surrender to our emotions so that we can learn from our emotions. Then that's learning to surf the waves of life, up and down in your emotions. It fluctuates your energy. Alive energy is moving energy. Stuck energy is dead energy. Do you want to die? No. But we look at people like, Renee Good and the liberal media, they're bonkers. Okay? And I used to be like that. So I fucking know. I've been a liberal my whole life. I started turning things around on that front around 2021, 2022, and the trans thing where I got in the trans kids, and I was like, wait, I started grounding in reality, no, that can't be right. So it's hard to see. When you can't see, you can't fucking see. It's like saying they should be able to see when their whole window is fogged up with their own self-hate projecting outward as if it's real. And so I'm coming with as much compassion as I can. And, I helped Andrew Tate when he was in solitary confinement, and I've been raped. I keep hearing into an inch of my life. Into With the forced abortions, I just heard that too. It's gnarly for me. But I came here to teach love thy enemy. Because the Christian church didn't know the fuck how to do it. Like, seriously. And I'm being terse for a reason. 2,000 years. They've had, okay, I'll give them to the Council of Nicaea in the 4th century. All right? 1,600 years. When have they ever taught how to love thy enemy in mass with the Inquisitions, Manifest Destiny, and the lot? Burning at the stake, women. So I'm going to bring up something else that I just created and put on Instagram. It's, I asked the question, is Christianity, let me share my screen. Is Christianity like male feminism? I'll just read it. When Christianity institutionalized femininity by housing forgiveness and compassion in the church and Jesus' soul, as well as teaching men they are the spiritual lead of the family, they basically said, I don't need a woman. Cherokee Proverb says, this is a dedication of my book, a woman's highest calling is to connect a man to his soul so he can unite with source. Oh, sound like what the church is trying to do? Because that's what it sounds like to me. A man's highest calling is to protect a woman so he can walk the earth unharmed. Women do the inside, men do the outside. It's easy. But when we fear the other, what is that? That's a projection of self. Okay? And if men are fearing women, that also means that women haven't fully embraced their femininity as healers. It's our job to connect to the soul, to ground to the heart, to open the heart, to restore a healthy heartbeat. That's why I'm saying the heartbeat of the collective. That's my job. It's my job to take us into our deeper, darker fears and emotions. But we only did that so we can rise to our highest of highs. Like, I've been at the Mount Everest base camp. I can't climb to the top, but enlightenment's the same. And I'm here to help everyone do that. So let me show you my 6 divine feminine self-love strategies next. Oh, that's not it, hang on. Let me bring it back up. I don't know how to switch screens yet. All right, let me go to the top. And I'll show you, it'll be a free ebook in the description for you. And this is a summary of all the wisdom that I've gained while healing over the past 10 years. And while I discuss it, in my book, it's not all in one, nice, easy to use ebook. And please spread it as much as you can, because the more people that come into my energy, they will naturally release their emotional wounds, because my energy moves so fast with all of my enlightenment experiences. And I discuss that in Changing the World's an Inside Job. I'll show you in a second. That the more people that come into my energy, they'll naturally align with the universe. Like, I didn't decide what the wisdom is. I opened my heart, I listened, and then I implemented. It's not like my brain decided, my soul showed me. Okay, there's a difference. So this is my free ebook. So the 6 divine feminine self-love strategies. My nose keeps itching. And the first one is, and I have videos on all 6 of them, so you can check them out. Appreciate, learn, and forgive, ego death. It shows you how to transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom, so you can let go of regret, remorse, and you stop turning. We stop making a lesson a life sentence and turn it back into a lesson. I did that for 35 years with my lower back. Love hierarchy. Learn to surf the waves of life. And I have a Winston Churchill quote. I believe that when something's true, it's true in multiple places. So I like to bring things in from science, from religion, from mysticism to shamanism to psychology to, history. Winston Churchill. Wisdom is wisdom. Knowledge is knowledge. And there's a video of a physics experiment that explains that piece of wisdom. And then a summary of the map of consciousness you can check out. And the universe is a mirror. This one is really good for healing relationships. So you stop projecting onto each other. And there's also a physics experiment showing how that works. Changing the World is an inside job. Also has a physics experiment and a little story about Andrew Tate and me when I was helping him in solitary confinement. And then pain is an initiation process to personal growth. And this quote I got about a year before my lower back pain healed, and says, pain is beautiful because it reveals what longs to be healed. So, and there's a video down here about how I helped Jeffrey Epstein, and after he passed away, I've been raped, and to tell you about that with him. But a close friend of mine was raped by him when she was young at those sex parties. And so we helped help his soul, helped him forgive himself after he passed away and go to what we call heaven. Anyway, I'm going to stop here. Please like and subscribe the video. Please reach out on my website is kerryblaser.com. And you can buy my book if you'd like to check out how I healed. And it's all before I realized I was Mary Magdalene's reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. So you can see how all that worked out, how all the men came into my life and led me back to JC from my childhood. All right, take care. Bye.